Hello and welcome to my channel, Sandra's Homespun Life. And today I'm bringing you outside and I'm going to cook a chicken on my griddle. To get my chicken ready to go on the griddle, the first thing I want to do is to cut it in a way that will allow the chicken to lay flat on the grill. And the method I'll be using is called a spatchcock. So basically what you do is you lay it breast side down. This is the breast side. You lay the breast side down. Okay, you find the neck there, and you're going to follow on each side with your knife or kitchen shears and cut along that backbone to cut that out. And right here, after I've cut the backbone out, I've got my bird flipped over to the breast side down, the wings facing towards me. And right between the breastbone here is a little piece of cartilage, and so I'm just going to slice down through that. So for my next step, I'm just going to put this chicken over into my pan, and the only thing that I'm going to season it with is this Lawry's seasoning salt. So while I have my chicken on my cutting board, I'm going to season this side first. I'm going to transfer it over to my aluminum pan and then season the other side. When I season my chickens to get ready for the griddle, I season them really well, because once this starts frying on a griddle, some of the seasoning is going to get left behind on the griddle. So you don't want to be too skimpy with your seasoning. You want to put it on there very generously. So I've had my griddle preheating and I have my burners turned up to high. So what I'm going to do now that it's preheated is I'm going to turn both these burners down to low. And I just have this one side of my griddle heating up because this is the only side I'm going to be cooking on. So for my first step, now that my griddle is preheated, my burners are turned to low, I'm just going to lightly put a coating of oil on my griddle, and then I'm going to place the chicken down. So what I'm going to allow this chicken to do is probably cook for about 10-15 minutes. I don't want to rush it, and I'm going to continue to cook this whole chicken on low throughout the whole cooking time. But I'm going to allow this to get a little seared on one side, and then I'm just going to flip it over and do the same to the other side. Okay, I've allowed my chicken to fry probably about 10 minutes, maybe 12. So what I'm going to do next is scoop my chicken off to the side a little bit. Put down another layer of oil. And attempt to flip this chicken over onto its other side. And from there, I'm going to allow it to cook another 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm going to start covering this up from there and allowing the internal cooking process to start taking place. Okay, I've allowed my chicken to go for about 10 more minutes. So I'm going to change up my method of cooking just a little bit. So what I'm going to do right now is flip my chicken. And I don't have a big lid like I need, so I just use these aluminum pans, and I'm going to cover it the best I can. And I'm going to use this smaller lid to hold the weight on top of the pan to keep the wind from blowing it off. And this is the step where I start using my water to create steam underneath my lid. So I'm just going to go all around the chicken. Being careful not to burn myself on the steam. And I'm going to repeat that process for every 15 minutes. So I've allowed my chicken to cook for about 30 or 40 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start checking the temperature and see how close we are to getting this chicken cooked all the way through. I'm sure it's probably not at 165 degrees yet, but I like to start checking it right about now just to give me an idea of how much more it needs to cook to achieve that temperature. Now the breast is only at 130, so we're about halfway there. Around the legs like 145. So I'm just going to continue to cook that and flip it until it gets up to the 165 degrees. Now as you can see, that chicken's already wanting to fall apart, but it still hasn't got to that 165 degrees. So don't let that fool you and deceive you when you're fixing your own chicken just because the legs are wanting to fall off that it's completely cooked through. That's usually a good indicator, but always rely on your thermometer to check your temperature to be 100% certain, because nobody wants to get food poisoning off of chicken. Oh yeah, she's good and done now. Okay, I've checked the temperature on my chicken and it's finally exceeded actually the 165 degrees, but it won't hurt it because we're left the skin on that will keep it from drying out. So what I'm going to do right now is remove the chicken over to my pan and cover it with aluminum foil. Go inside and plate me up a nice plate of food here in a minute. My chicken took just a little over an hour. Now how long your chicken takes if you try this is largely dependent on the size of your chicken. Mine was probably around a little over 5 pounds, so it took just a little bit over an hour to get it done. So I'm gonna put this in my pan and cover it up, go in the kitchen and get ready to eat. And I thank you all for joining me. And until next time, guys, bye.